जाऊ बघू, होऊ द्या. कोविडला कोण घाबरत. चांगलंच आहे उलट. Some strategies are very useful. ठीक आहे चालेल. हो. Is it visible now?
No, sir.
No or yes?
So nothing is showing on the screen. It's blank.
Chapter 3, I have shared. Screen is also
Yeah, chapter
shared,
3.
I think. The current
now
first slide is visible for you?
Now, yes. Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, fine. Sure. Very good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Sanket Charkha from Srinagar Institute's Savitribai Phule, Pune University. We are starting with today's topic, the subject, that is economic analysis of business decision. In the first chapter, we have understood, or we have dealt with, what is the concept of economics with respect to the various terminologies of microeconomics, macroeconomics, and the understanding of managerial economics. We have also dealt with various theories that have been provided by the various economists, and understanding what are the various factors of production and how it gets affected whenever the demand and supply increases or decreases. Specifically, moving with the second chapter, we have understood what is the concept of demand, what is meant by utility, and what is the concept of demand analysis. After demand analysis, we have seen what is the law of demand, which has been provided by Alfred Marshall, and we have seen what are various determinants of demand, the key on which factors or on which basis the demand of a particular product or a commodity increases or decreases. Then furthermore, we have also dealt with and we have studied about what are the various components with respect to the factors of production and so on. Then we have seen factors of production. Worthy office money. Then we have seen what is utility, demand analysis, and further we have understood about the elasticity of demand, price elasticity, income elasticity, cross elasticity, and elasticity based on changes in market supply and origination. Now today we are starting with the third chapter, that is supply and market equilibrium. As you have studied earlier, the concept of utility of demand and concept of demand analysis and law of demand, in the same way, in the same fashion, we have law of supply also. So according to Thomas, the supply of goods is the quantity offered for sale in a given market at a given time at a various different prices. So what is the meaning of supply, or what is the meaning of supply analysis or market analysis of a supply of the goods and commodity? That is the quantity that is offered for sale. So here we can say whatever the manufacturing or the production of a particular goods or services or commodity it has been undertaken, and when it actually reaches the market position, and whenever the particular product or commodity reaches the market position and it is available for sale to a particular consumer or ultimately the end user, that particular quantity or that particular commodity is called as an supply. And that particular supply has to be identified at a specific place and for a specific period of time. So based on the time identification, we have to see about what is the quantity of goods and services that has been provided. Now, how it is been identified? It is been always in a measurable term, wherein I can say it is either 1 gram, 2 gram, 10 gram, 1000 gram, that is 1 kg, 2 kg, 5 kg, 10 kg, 100 kg, 1000 kg, which means 1 ton, 10 ton, 500 ton, 500 ton, 1000 ton, and so on. So in this way, based on the different units or based on different measures, a particular quantity can be measured and it is available for different prices. A product can be available for 1 rupee also. A product can be available at rupees 10, at rupees 50, at rupees 100, at rupees 10 lakh, at rupees 50 lakhs, and so on. So in this way, certain different products are having certain different prices, and accordingly, based on the availability, based on the quantity, the price or the supply of the goods and services commodity differs. For example, availability of water or the supply of water. The supply of water being abundant in nature, it may be available everywhere. The supply of sugar. Now, whenever we say sugar, it differs based on the manufacturing that has been undertaken. So, as and when the sugar gets manufactured, it is available into the market, and the suppliers are transferring, or the suppliers are sending those products into the market economy. Now, the supply or availability of two-wheelers or four-wheelers. as and when there is a demand for the product, as and when the manufacturing or the production activity is been undertaken, the supply of the quantity or the goods that is been required for the two-wheelers or four-wheelers, it differs. Now, the quantity that is been demanded for supply may be, for example, 10,000 kg, but in case of two-wheelers, it may be at least 10, 50, 100, 1,000, and so on. In case of four-wheelers, the quantity may decrease. Now, moving with the supply of precious goods. So the availability or the supply of gold, silver, diamonds, platinum, and so on, again, it gets reduced. Now, it is not in quantity, it is not in thousands or tons and so on. It comes to a certain specific category that is in terms of gram. That is, the availability of gold may be available in 5 gram, 10 gram, 100 grams, and so on. So accordingly, the product or the commodity or the quantity differs. So in this case, the definition or the conceptual origination of supply is been provided by Thomas. Now, as we have earlier studied, what are the various determinants of demand? In the same factor or in the same fashion, we have determinants of supply. First thing, the determinant of supply is always based on the product price. So whatever is the price of your product, based on the product pricing, the supply of the goods or quantity of that particular goods is been determined. Why? Because the various factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, enterprise, and resources, they are put to use, they have been employed, and based on their employability, the product comes into existence. Now, for example, whenever you want to manufacture sugar, for manufacturing of sugar, first what do we do? The raw material that is been required is the raw material is sugar cane. So if sugar cane is available in abundant quantity, if you go to the factory for the manufacturing of sugar, then accordingly we can say the sugar is manufactured in tons of quantity, that is 1000 ton, 2000 ton, and so on, or that is thousands of kilos of sugar is been manufactured every year. Based on the manufacturing level, if the sugar is manufactured in 1000 ton, then accordingly the proportionate pricing of the sugar is been decided by the government authorities and the market conditions, and accordingly we set a price for that particular sugar, that is either 30 rupees per kg, 50 rupees per kg, 100 rupees per kg, and so on. So product pricing, so determinant of supply, that is if the product is available in abundant quantity, in maximum number of quantity, the price of that particular product is always at a minimal level. Now, another concern, for example, take two-wheelers. Now, two-wheelers is a particular concern wherein the availability, manufacturing, or the production of this product is requiring at a certain stage, and accordingly, based on the component that have been applied. That is, if the raw material that has been used, for example, we use steel, iron, and so on, or various automobile components, we use oiling, greasing, and various rubber, tire, everything is been used for manufacturing a two-wheeler. So whatever proportion, whatever quantity of raw material is been used, based on that quantity, the price of the product is been determined. That is, the price may start from around 30,000, 50,000, 80,000, 1 lakh, and so on. Now, again, moving to advanced product, that is the product manufacturing of four-wheeler. In terms of four-wheeler also, the product category differs, the brand value differs, the components or the proportion of the goods, services, commodity component that have been used in that particular product also differs. That is, you may use a tire of a different quality, you may use a steel of different quantity, and so on. So in this way, the product quality differs, and accordingly, the pricing also differs. So you may get a four-wheeler for around 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs, and you may get a four-wheeler for rupees 40 lakhs or 60 lakhs also. So in this way, the pricing of the product is a major component based on which the supply of commodity, supply of goods is been identified or it is been determined. Now, if the pricing of the, for example, sugar, if the price of sugar is rupees 50 per kg, then accordingly thousands of tons of sugar or lakhs of quantity of sugar can be made available. But if the pricing of that the same sugar is, for example, 50 lakhs per kg, then accordingly there will be no availability of those customers, and no one will be ready to purchase a sugar costing rupees 50 lakhs per kg. So in this case, now sugar having the polished of a gold or silver platinum or the platinum, that particular sugar can be purchased, but accordingly the supply will be also be limited, and accordingly the price will be also restricted for that particular product. So in this case we have to understand what is the product pricing, and based on the product pricing, the supply of a particular quantity is been identified, it has been determined, and it differs from person to person, product to product, market to market, and category to category. Price of the related goods.
म्हणजे दीदीचे ऍडमिशनचे डॉक्युमेंट सबमिट करायचे राहिले होते, गॅप सर्टिफिकेट, रेणुका पगारे.
ठीक, I'll submit it later. Yeah, welcome. Now, the price of related goods. So always the supply of a particular commodity or a certain quantity differs from the price of the commodity or the related goods. So whosoever are the competitors into your market, availability based on the supply of goods or supply of quantity of the material differs from product to product. Now, a particular product that is, for example, a particular brand. A particular brand of a particular product may be available for rupees 1,000, and the same product or the same category may be available for rupees 1,200, or it may be available at a price of rupees 900 or 800. So in this case, based on the supplier, based on the competitors, we have to set our own commodity. We have to set the features of that particular product, and accordingly, the supply of the commodity differs, whether it increases or whether it decreases. Cost and technology here at this place, that is the factors of production that you are applying. Now here you will land, labor, capital, enterprise and resources. So enterprise and technology that is made available at this stage is the based on what type of product that you are manufacturing and what skill set that has been applied for manufacturing that particular product. Now if better quality of the product, better quality of material, better quality of raw material is been used, then accordingly the product quality will also be different, and accordingly we can say that the supply that or the product that is manufactured is of a good quality. So in this case, the determinants of supply at this stage is if the costing of the product is bit higher, if the technological advancement or the use of technology in that particular manufacturing of the product is bit higher, then accordingly your price of the product also gets increased, and the technological advancements also increases the quantity of supply. Now, if you want to manufacture a particular product, and for manufacturing that particular product, if a labor skill set has been applied, that is a particular person is physically manufacturing that particular product, then accordingly the time required for manufacturing or the number of products that are needed to be manufactured is always restricted. That is, in a particular day, one person can produce or one person can manufacture only one commodity of product. But at the same stage, what do? You imply or you adopt a certain technology, and based on the technological advancements, you bring a certain machinery. And based on that particular machinery, if certain modifications, if certain skill sets have been applied, then the machinery can manufacture or the machinery can produce at least 10 quantity or 50 quantity of those same product that one person was manufacturing only one product or one commodity or one unit. So in this case, if you want to increase the supply, then accordingly the use of costing per product, the use of minimal or the maximum amount of quantity, or that is the availability of raw material, has to be seen. And accordingly the technological advancement, that is either you need to use a good technology, and accordingly if robotic technology is being used, then based on those concerns, the manufacturing or the production quantity can be increased as and when it is being required. Objectives of the firm. So objectives of the firm plays a critical role, a very vital role, wherein it is needed to identify whether the company is looking for wealth maximization or profit maximization. So if you are looking for the profit maximization, then what do we have to do? We have to see that the prices are being set at a limited level, and accordingly there is no excessive pricing, wherein if the prices have been controlled into the market, then accordingly you can get an additional profit that is being generated over a period of time. Based on those concerns, a particular price of the product can be set, and accordingly the profit maximization objective can be controlled and it can be fulfilled. If the firm or if the company is looking for the wealth maximization, then accordingly the prices of the particular commodity or the product must be set accordingly as per the terms, conditions, and requirement of the market, as per the prevailing conditions with respect to the competitors, and based on those features only the product, commodity, or the pricing has to be set. Objectives of the firm depends on the competitor's pricing policy also. So whether if there is change in the pricing of the same product, and the competitors are also changing their pricing policy, and accordingly you also have to change the product pricing, and accordingly the product can be used or it can be sold out into the market. So supply factors also depends upon what amount you are looking for, whether you want to increase the sales or whether you want to increase the profit of the organization. So if you are looking for the increasing sales, then accordingly maximum amount of goods or services commodity must be supplied. And if you're looking for the profit wealth maximization, then qualitative product must be provided to the consumers, and we have to see that the supply is been always in a proper controlled position into the market economy. Future expenditure. So whatever future expenditure that have been expected, the company must predict, the company must have a certain forecasting activity, and based on those concern, projections must also be undertaken at every stage or point of time. Now, if the projections have been undertaken in very effective way, and based on the projections that a particular company or an organization makes, we can identify about what quantity of goods have been demanded, and based on those concerns, we can make the availability of raw material, make the availability of the goods and services into the market very effectively. Now, future expenditure or the projections here, which means now here at this stage we cannot identify, that is in the month of February there cannot be the projections with respect to the rainfall in the month of June, July, August and September cannot be maintained, or it cannot be identified. But with the use of technology, with the help of various satellites and the concerns with respect to the weather conditions, we can see about whether the rainfall will be average, whether rainfall will be below average, or whether the rainfall will be 100%. So based on this concern, we can come to a certain conclusion about what will be the weather and climatic conditions and what goods or services can be commodity or the services can be demanded. If there is an extension in the summer season, then accordingly those products or those commodity that have been required in summer season, that particular products or commodity will be demanded. And if there is an early stage of the weather conditions for the rainy season, then accordingly the requirement for umbrella, the requirement for the raincoats and so on, such articles or dependent products will be used, and accordingly we can start manufacturing and supplying those services or commodities. Change in the weather or climatic conditions also differs about how your manufacturing activity is being undertaken. If there is frequent changes in the weather conditions, frequent changes in the climatic conditions, then the the product that is being demanded and the product has to be supplied, always there is an imbalance, and accordingly we can see that the trader or the manufacturer is not able to identify about when to manufacture, how to manufacture, and how much to manufacture about a certain product or a certain commodity. So in this case, weather and climatic conditions also differs, and accordingly the supply of a particular commodity keeps on changing as and when the market conditions changes. Number of sellers. So if there are large number of sellers into the particular market, then accordingly it creates an healthy competition. And whenever there is an healthy competition, we cannot come to a certain conclusion about which company or which trader or which particular seller is gaining more number of profits, and accordingly there creates a competitive situation into the market. So what we have to see, that there is a proper control on the competition that has been created, and the market position is always stable over a period of time. So if market position, market conditions are very stable, and based on those perspectives, we can identify about which seller will be earning profit, which seller will be at a certain loss, and accordingly, what people do they prefer for. Now, based on the seller, now if you go to purchase a certain four-wheeler, there are various outlets for service stations. Based on those concerns, what do? We have a certain position, we have a certain opinion, and wherever the good services have been provided for us, we go and we prefer that particular vendor only. If a particular person is providing you a free delivery, if a particular seller is giving you a good services, and based on those concerns, we try to prefer that particular person or that particular vendor, and accordingly the seller is being preferred. Now, if the number of seller increases, accordingly the competition will increase, and accordingly the price of the product will differ. Now, if the price of the product is differing, then based on the concept of law of demand, what do we see? What do we see? That if the price has been decreasing, then accordingly the quantity demanded increases, and if the price has been increasing, the quantity demanded decreases. So there is an inverse relationship between the quantity demanded and the price of that particular product. So in this case, there should be a proper control on the seller's perspectives also. So there should be minimum or the limited number of sellers who are selling those products into the market. Taxation policy. So taxation policy with respect to the state government and the central government taxation that has been prevailing or ruling into a particular market. So if there is a stable taxation policy, then accordingly the manufacturing activity can be undertaken in very effective way, and there will be a control on manufacturing or production that has been undertaken by the various manufacturers or the producers. But if there is heavy or excessive taxation policy, then accordingly there will be a control, there will be curtailing down to the manufacturing activity, and accordingly people will not be able to identify about how the products are to be manufactured, what quantity of the goods and services are to be manufactured, and what way the product is to be supplied into the market. So in this case, the determinants of supply is a certain concern wherein at every stage, at every point of time, if the commodity, if the product that has been offered or that has been identified differs from one person to another person, depends on a quantity, depends on it has been differing from market to market. Accordingly, there are various imbalances that have been created into the market, and hence we can say that the supply has to be very effective at every stage or point of time. Now, as we have seen the concept of law of demand, now let's move at the certain further perspective, that is law of supply. So law here it is which is given by when the price of commodity increases, then its quantity supplied increases, and when its price decreases, quantity supply decreases, other things remaining the same. So same as we have seen the law of demand, in this case we have the law of supply, which wherein there is a direct correlation between this law wherein the quantity demanded and whether it increases or whether the quantity demanded decreases. So here there is a positive relationship between the quantity demanded and the quantity that has been supplied over a period of time. So price of commodity increases. So if the price of a particular commodity is increasing, then accordingly its quantity supplied also increases simultaneously. And when the price of a certain commodity decreases, then accordingly the quantity supplied also decreases over a period of time. Now, what is supply is the function of price, where S stands for supply and P stands for pricing. So here there is direct correlation between the quantity that has been demanded and the price of a particular commodity or the product that has been ruling into the market. Now here, the last sentence or the last term, which means that other things remaining the same. So what are those other things, or what are the conditions, or what are the assumptions with respect to law of supply? Here we can see in this particular slide. First thing, no change in price of factors of production. So what are the various factors of production? The factors of
Sir.
production are, yes,
Sir, sir, suppose the price of that product is decreased, then supply is increasing, sir. So how can in the definition, so price of commodity is increased, then supply is decreased, because the the product value is a main thing in market, and the customer are also be that they are be demanding, and they look first the price of product, and then they demanded. And in the and in is mentioned the supply is increased and the price, then price of commodity also increase. So in the price of commodity is decreased, then supply is increased. Yeah, this is right in the my perspective.
your perspective is also correct, but that is applicable to the law of demand. Whenever we are understanding the law of supply, I'll just give you a simple example. Okay, I'll note on a particular paper. You have a certain family, right? A certain family, that is you, your father, mother, and brother. These are the 4 members into your family, and this particular family consumes 5 kg of sugar for a particular month, right?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
there?
Okay.
Right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes, sir.
a particular family
Yeah,
of
right.
Miss Aarti, and the consumption of sugar is 5 kg. Now, and there is a particular retailer, that is Messrs Mahalakshmi Traders. महालक्ष्मी ट्रेडर्स एक पर्टिकुलर कंपनी, एक पर्टिकुलर फर्म है. आप हरदम यहाँ पे जाते हो और यहाँ से हर समय 5 kg ऑफ शुगर परचेज करते हो. ट्रू, अग्री?
Okay, yeah, agree.
राइट. नाउ ये महालक्ष्मी ट्रेडर्स जो है, what does he do? For every month he is purchasing 1000 kg of sugar for the entire requirement. Out of this 1000 kg of sugar, मिस आरती का जो फैमिली है, मिस आरती का फैमिली 5 kg of sugar परचेज करता है. Now here what you can identify, what is the balance that is remaining? The balance remain is 995 kg, correct?
Yes, sir.
The standard
Correct,
quantity
sir.
that he has purchased for the month is 1000 kg, 5 kg you have purchased. Now the remaining is 995 kg. Another family, that is family of Mr. Sanket, and they are purchasing 10 kg of sugar for a particular month. Now what will be the balance? 985 kg.
90.
So what can I say? The market demand, market requirement was 1000 kg, wherein Artika family was purchasing 5 kg, it became
5 kg.
995. Sanket families were purchasing 10 kg, it became 985. True?
Yes, sir. True.
Now another example, there was a family of Mrs. Sunita Shah, and accordingly they are purchasing 50 kg of sugar, right? Now when we say 50 kg of sugar is in purchase, now minus 50. Now minus 50 यानी कितना हो गया?
935.
935. Now here at this stage, what we can identify, that the quantity demanded at this particular stage is 1000 kg, then it became 995, then it became 985, and now it is 935. At the standard price, now for example, the standard price of sugar is 50 rupees per kg, right? Agree? Now moving towards your example of law of supply. Now how does the law of supply applies? Now for example, if the price of the price of sugar increases from 50 to 55 or 55 to 60. Now if the price of sugar is increased from 50 to 60 and your income level remains same, is it affordable for you to purchase the same quantity of sugar?
Yes.
How? आपको
Then
60 rupees में 5 kg शुगर मिलेगा क्या?
no, then suppose the sugar price is will be increased, so this time not affordable, and then sugar price is same.
Right. So what will you do? Now if the price of the sugar increases to rupees 60, what will you
So
do? You will purchase
I decrease
4.5
my
kg of
demand.
you decrease it and your quantity demanded decreases, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes, sir.
you are purchasing 5 kg, now it will become 4.5 kg.
4.
Same
Yeah.
happens with my family. Earlier I was purchasing 10 kg, now I will purchase 8 kg. Earlier Miss Sunita Shah was purchasing 50 kg, now she will purchase 40 kg, correct?
Yes.
Now in this case what happened? Now there is a balance of 10 plus 2 plus 0.5 becomes 12.5 kg. Agreed? So
Yeah.
here it was 935 kg available with that particular vendor. Now it had increased by 12.5. So 12.5. So it becomes 147.5 kg, 947.5 kg. So in this case, what we can see that if the price of commodity is increasing, accordingly the quantity supplied, that is the quantity available into the market for selling purpose, is also increasing simultaneously. What people do, people start reducing their quantity. So this is the concept of law of supply. If the price of commodity keeps on increasing, the quantity supplied, that is the quantity available for sale for a particular customer or for the entire market, keeps on increasing. Now here, take the second example, that is if the price decreases, the quantity supplied also decreases. Now, what is the quantity supplied? Earlier, the quantity supplied 1000 kg, your demand was 5 kg and the price was rupees 50. Now, if the price becomes 40 rupees per kg, how much quantity will you purchase? You will purchase an additional quantity. That is, you may go to purchase 7 kg of sugar. So what was the quantity? Now here, earlier the quantity was 995, now it becomes 993. So 993. So here in case the quantity supplied of the availability of sugar from the particular market keeps on decreasing accordingly. Hello,
Okay, sir. I understand now. Thank you.
clear? Yes, understood. Now moving with the assumptions to the law of supply. So what are the various assumptions based on which the law of supply, whether the increase or decrease in the product or increase or decrease in the commodity, differs? No changes in the factors or price of factors of production. So whatever factors of production that you are employing for, whether it is land, labor, capital, enterprise or resources, we have to see that all the factors of production are quite stable. There is no change in the prices of those factors. And if there is a change in the price of that particular factors, what happens? The rate, that is the price of that particular commodity, will increase, and accordingly, if the price of commodity is increasing, accordingly the quantity demanded either increases or decreases, and it creates a direct impact on the law of demand and law of supply. So here, same case, if the standardized position with respect to other things remaining the same, we have to see that there is no change into the market condition. There must be no change in the factors of production that you are employing for, and all things must remain. Commodity must also remain reliable over the related good. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. You're audible now. In few minutes ago, sir, you are not audible. Audible.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I
Yes, now.
audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Now
Of
you are
related goods.
audible.
So we have a commodity. There are always alternatives that are available for a particular product, and based on the alternatives, if the price of one commodity is increased, what happens? The particular customer switches from another product. It is today you were purchasing one commodity, and if the price of that particular increases, you may switch from that particular product to some another. In this case, the law of supply does not apply, and we cannot identify about what quantity of goods or what quantity of services was being applied, and it was being used for a specific period of time. No change in the goals of firm. So if a particular firm has either set profit maximization or the wealth maximization as their respective objective, then the firm must not change at this particular stage. And accordingly, if the goals of the firm are very stable, they are very static, and it is completely target oriented, then accordingly the company can focus very effectively on what production, what manufacturing, what supply, what distribution activity has to be undertaken, and accordingly what amount of quantity of goods and services has to be provided into the market. So here, either the profit maximization or the wealth maximization, the firm or the goal or the motive of the firm must remain same, and it must not change over a period of time. No change in the expectation of the producer. So the expectation of the producer must also not change. That is, if the expectation of the producer is to get more number of profits, more number of production, more number of quantity, then if there is an excessive production, then accordingly the quality of the products decreases. And if the producer is looking for the excessive or the mass production, then accordingly then at this stage what happened, there are more number of defects of this particular product, and it is been created, and the manufacturer cannot focus on the qualitative product, the qualitative manufacturing of activity. So expectation of the producer or the expectation of the different firms that are manufacturing that particular product must also remain same over a period of time. No change in the state of technology. So if the technology is changing very rapidly, very fluently, then also the product features get changed. And if the product are changing, if the product is not at a stable stage, then at this stage also your law of supply fails, and accordingly we cannot calculate about whether the quantity supplied or whether the quantity that is demanded is either increasing or whether it is decreasing, whether there is an impact of product price on a particular product or on a particular product that has been demanded or that has been supplied into the market perspective. No change in the number of producers. So whatever may be the number of producers, so if there are 10 sellers into the particular market, accordingly there must be 10 sellers only, and the direct number of sellers or the number of retailers, the number of manufacturers, number of suppliers must not decrease or increase at a very rapid stage. Now here, if the number of sellers or the manufacturers or produce or the retailers are increasing or decreasing, then what will be condition? The customers may get a certain confusion, and there are certain chances of wholesale purchases also. And if a particular person is purchasing in a wholesale, he may get a certain amount of discount, and based on the discount the price of that particular product increases or decreases. That is, if you purchase one quantity, you have to pay the MRP at this particular stage. If you're purchasing 10 quantity, then accordingly you get a discount of either 10% or 15 or 12%. If you purchase 100 quantity, then you get a certain discount of around 15% to 20%. If you purchase 1000 quantity, then accordingly 20%, 25% discount has been given for you. So a particular trader, now depending on the different traders, depending on the different producers, depending on different retailers that are there into the market, what happen? They start changing their policies, and it creates a negative impact onto the market economy with respect to the availability of demand as a certain factor. So if the trader is giving you more number of concession or a certain discount factor, then accordingly your quantity demanded also increases or decreases, and it creates an imbalance with respect to law of supply that is into existence. No change in the government policy. So government policy must also remain stable, and whatever industry or whatever sector they are preferring for, also it must be stable over a period of time. So if government is focusing on a certain specific sector, that is micro, small, medium enterprises, either retail sector, manufacturing sector, pharma sector, agri sector, industrial goods sector, and so on. So the policy of the government must also not change very frequently or very effectively. And lastly, no change in the taxation and subsidy rates. So if a particular government is providing you a certain subsidy with respect to specific industry or certain sector, that a proportion of subsidy must also not change, and it must remain stable over a period of time. Taxation policy, now there must not be a certain situation wherein the taxation has also been very effective and very flexible. Whatever tax rate that have been provided, it must be remaining same over a period of time. That is for either maximum of 1 year or maximum of 2 years, and the government must not change very frequently the taxation policies also. And if the taxation rates are very stable, it becomes very easier to calculate the various ratios, various factors, and accordingly you can make a proper budget or proper plan of your activities. Same as we have the demand schedule, in the same case we have a individual supply and the market supply schedule. So individual supply is a particular concern wherein you need to identify of a particular one single retailer or one single manufacturer or one single seller who is available into that particular market. So here in the early example, we have seen the seller, that is Messrs. Mahalakshmi Traders. So one single firm or one single seller or one single retailer, if we are trying to analyze that particular firm or that particular seller, then that particular concept is called as an individual supply. Market supply, you are identifying, you are taking 10 sellers, 10 retailers, 1000 sellers together, and accordingly you are making an analysis of those particular people, then that particular concept can be called as a market supply. So for a single person, for a single seller, for a single retailer, if you are calculating the supply function, then it is called as an individual supply. And if you are calculating the supply function for the more number of retailers or more number of suppliers, then accordingly we can say that it is a market supply schedule. Now here there is a supply curve. So here in this case, what we can see, the quantity that is available for supply. So if the price of the commodity or the price of this particular product increases, so here what we are seeing, the price was earlier 10, then accordingly the quantity supplied was 2. If the price becomes 20, the quantity supplied doubles. If the price is rupees 30, the quantity supplied increases to 60. And if the price is rupees 50, then accordingly the quantity supplied is 10. So here, as and when the price changes. So earlier there was family of Miss Aarti, and accordingly earlier at a standard rate they were purchasing 5 kg of sugar, and if the price of sugar increases to from rupees 50 to 60, what they will do, they will reduce their consumption. Accordingly the consumption reduces from 20 to, that is 2 to 4. Again, if the price increases from rupees 50 to 70, your consumption of sugar will decrease, and accordingly the availability of sugar into the market for supply purpose will be at a major position. In reverse condition, there is a proportion of law of demand. If the price is decreasing, that is, if the price decreases from rupees 50 to 40, what happen? The family of Miss Aarti will purchase more number of sugar. So earlier they were purchasing 5 kg, now they are purchasing 6 kg. So here there is an inverse relationship. Always the quantity demanded increases and decreases with respect to the changes in the price. So in terms of law of supply, in law of supply or law of demand, there is always change in the major factors of production is the price of that particular product. In case of law of demand, the price was decreasing, and in case of law of supply, the price is increasing. Now, why demand curve? Why supply curve slopes upward? First thing, change in the stock level. So here there is your answer, Aarti. That is change in the stock level. So here what we can see, earlier the availability of stock level was 935 kg available into the market, and if the price increases from 50 kg to 60 kg, now the availability of stock level is 947.5 kg. So in this case, what we can see, if the stock level increases accordingly, we can say that there is more number of supply. So in this case, at early stage, if the stock level increases accordingly, the supply curves keeps on increasing. Accordingly, the number of number of goods available for the sell into the market also keeps on increasing. Profit or loss possibility.
Sir, can you explain again change in stock level because some net problem are entering. Means you are not audible in just 2 seconds ago. Change in stock level, sir, please.
Okay. Change in stock level. Earlier, the standard quantity was 1000. Miss Aarti has purchased 5 kg. Now it became 995 kg. Again, Mr. Sanket has purchased 10 kg. It became 985. Miss Sunita has purchased 50 kg. It became 935. Agreed? Now, apply the law of supply at this particular stage, and this law of supply states that the price is increasing. That is, from 50, it became 60. Now, what happens if the price of this particular commodity increases? What happens? Your quantity demanded, that is what quantity of product that you are demanding, it keeps on decreasing. Earlier, you were demanding 5 kg, now you demand 4.5 kg. Earlier, I was demanding 10 kg, now it became 8 kg. Now, earlier, Miss Sunita was demanding 50, now she is demanding 40. So 40 plus 2, 40, sorry, 10 now, so decrease is 10. So 10 plus 2 plus 0.5, so it became 12.5. So now at the standard rate, standard terms and conditions, the availability of the product, that is the supply of product into the market, was 935 kg. Now if the price increases from 50 to 60, the total market supply of the particular product is getting reduced, or it decreases by 12.5. So what is the concern? That is change in the stock level. So stock level, पहले हमारे पास स्टॉक ऑफ कमोडिटी कितना था? पहले हमारे पास स्टॉक था 935 का. नाउ अगर प्राइस आपका बढ़ जाता है, सो द स्टॉक लेवल इंक्रीजेस बाय 12.5 and it became 947.5. So in this case, what happened? The quantity supplied is increasing. So in this case, what we can see, that there is a change in the stock level, that is the amount of goods that are available in your stock or the warehouse.
Okay, sir, thanks.
Yeah. Profit and loss possibility. So profit and loss possibility, always a particular trader is having a certain possibility with respect to what profit or what loss he is making. So, whenever a particular trader is very flexible, if the price increases from rupees 50 to 60, now if the price is increasing from 50 to 60, what happened? Earlier he has purchased this product for rupees 40 per kg, and he's selling this particular product to the market at 50 rupees per kg, because he's having a certain profit margin of rupees 10. Now he has purchased the product at rupees 40. Now he is selling the product as rupees 60. So what happened? His profit margin has increased by a certain percentage. So a certain increase in the profit margin also tends to increase or move the supply curves in an upward position, and accordingly there is a change in the supply curve accordingly. Loss making possibility. Now we understand, or we assume a particular situation or a certain concern wherein, or a certain condition, if the price of the commodity decreases. So earlier the price was rupees 50, now the price has become 45, and your purchase price was rupees 40. So what happened? Your profit margin decreases by a certain percentage. That is, earlier you were getting the profit of rupees 10 per kg. Now you are getting a profit of rupees 5 per kg. So in this case, a certain possibility for either increase or decrease in the profit. That is, you want to increase either your your profit or you want to preserve your losses, for this particular concern also, the supply curve is moving and shifting from one position to another position. So as we have extension or contraction or increase or decrease in demand, in the same case or in the same fashion, we have increase or decrease in the supply or extension or contraction in supply as a factor. Entry of firm. So if there are a major number of entries or competitors into this particular firm, then accordingly there is a greater market competition. Based on the market competition, the supply curve is always moving upward. Why? Because the various products, various manufacturers, various retailers are providing different prices, and when different prices are provided to this particular market, there is an instability that is created into the market, and particular seller or particular who is available and providing the goods and services at the major effective position, it creates a certain differentiation with respect to how the product can be made available, and there is a differentiation with respect to the pricing policy with respect to, which changes from firm to firm. Exit of the firm. So if the firms are also exiting from this particular market, then accordingly there is a less amount of competition that is being created, and if there is a no competition then into the market, then accordingly the flexibility or the options that are available to a customer also reduces. So always there must be a balanced position, which is called as a perfect competitive market. So there must not be a monopoly, there must not be a duopoly, and there must not be an oligopoly market situation. So in this case, always there should be a perfect market competition, wherein there should be a proper control on entry and exit of the firm. So if the number of firms that have been ruling or prevailing to the market are quite stable, then based on those perception, based on the concern, also we can see or we can maintain that the demand and supply factors can be maintained very effectively. And lastly, incentives for innovation. So if an incentive for innovation with respect to the subsidy that has been provided by government, that is whatever subsidy that a particular government do, and a benefit that have been given for the manufacturers, wholesalers, traders and retailers, it keeps on differing from person to person. It keeps on differing from manufacturer to manufacturer, and accordingly the supply curve is moving upwards with respect to innovation or incentives that have been provided. So if new innovations have been there, then accordingly the price of the product keeps on increasing. That is earlier a particular cell phone. Now consider a particular cell phone, that is Apple One. Now Apple One product was available for rupees, for example, 10,000. Apple 2 available for rupees 20,000. Apple 3 available for rupees 30,000. 4 available for 40,000. 12 available for rupees 1 lakh, and so on. So here in this case, what happened? As there is an innovation into the product, as the features of the product keeps on increasing, so accordingly what happened? The supply or the price of that particular product keeps on increasing, and if the price of the product keeps on always increasing, the supply also is at an increasing stage. Why? Because people are demanding the product in a lesser quantity, and there is a less demand that is being created into the market. So in this case, we have to see that about what innovations, what technological advancements are being undertaken into that particular product, and how the product has been differing from a previous position. Exceptions to the law of supply. What are the? Yes.
Sir, could you give the example of exit of firm?
Exit of firm. Exit of firm is a particular concern wherein now here at this stage, the trader that is available at position. Now here earlier you used to purchase the goods and services from Mrs. Mahalakshmi Traders or a particular DMart. Now at this stage, for example, the DMart or the store that was available for you, and this particular store gets exited from that particular market. So what you will do, you will go to search out certain another retailer, certain another vendor, and you have to purchase the product from that particular person. Now that particular person, whether he's providing the goods and services at the same price, that is either at the higher quantity or at the lower quantity, at the higher price, at the lower price, you have to go and you have to purchase the product at the same pricing factor only. Earlier at a DMart, you used to get sugar at rupees 45 per kg. Now you are going to Mahalakshmi Traders to purchase the sugar, and he's providing at rupees 50 per kg. So here, if you are going to purchase a certain product at a certain another vendor, then based on the consideration of the pricing, what you will do, your price consideration will also increase or decrease the product pricing of that particular commodity and your quantity that you are demanding. So at DMart, you were purchasing 5 kg. Now at Mahalakshmi Traders, you will be purchasing 4.5 or 4 kg only. Why? Because the price of the commodity, price of the product has increased, and accordingly your purchasing power is decreasing simultaneously with the increase in price. Got it?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now moving towards the law exception to the law of supply. So what are the various exceptions wherein in which conditions or which cases the law of supply does not apply, or here the condition is always stable. Future expectations of price rise. So if there is a particular concern with respect to the changes in the price rise at a certain future state, then accordingly here law of supply does not apply, and accordingly we can see that there must be a standardized situation, there must be a standardized condition with respect to how a product is being controlled or how a product is being regulated into that particular market. Future expectation, if the consumers are preferring that the price of a particular commodity, price of a particular goods or services, if it has been changing over a period of time, then accordingly the consumers, what they will do, they will stock more of commodity, more of goods and services, and accordingly they will see that if you are expecting that the product may rise or the price of the particular product may rise in a certain future, then they start purchasing more number of quantity. Now take the example of petrol as on today. Now if we see that the price of petrol as on today is rupees 100, and it is expected that the price of commodity may go to rupees 105 or 1010, then what you will do, you will start purchasing more number of quantity, and accordingly it will create a certain less number of quantity, that is less number of availability of goods and services or commodity into the market origination. So here the law of supply does not apply, and we can say, or we can see that to whatever may be the concern, if you are expecting that the price may either increase or if the price may either decrease, then here the law of supply, that is how do you control the product commodity or the product quantity into the market, it is not at a certain feasible or the stable position. Increase in the agricultural goods. So what if the people are preferring more number of agricultural goods, or that is farm produce goods or services, commodities or articles, then based on the India being the agrarian economy, at this stage we cannot see or we cannot identify about what changes or what quantity of goods can be demanded. So if more number of agriculture goods have been demanded, if there is change in the agriculture position, agriculture condition, then accordingly based on those concern, the quantity either you demand or quantity either you purchase or sell, it keeps on differing from market to market, position to position, and concern to concern. Perishable goods preferences. So for a certain goods which are of a perishable nature, at this stage the quantity demanded is of a very large number or of a very specific number. Now for example, purchase of your furniture. Now whenever you want to purchase this amount or a certain quantity of furniture, what do? You identify whether the goods are durable or non-durable, that is for what duration it can be perished for. Now, if you identify that a particular goods are perishable for around 10 years or 5 years, then accordingly the quantity demanded is also decreasing. Now, certain goods which are not of a perishable nature, we demand in a very lower quantity, and accordingly, as and when the need is been arise, we start purchasing or consuming those goods and services. Goods of immediate action. So goods of immediate action are those particular which are required for a daily consumption or daily need that has been required, that has been need or that has been required. So for example, the concept of food, clothes, shelter. Now here, food, clothing, and shelter specifically means that is you are requiring a certain consumption, and it's been as a certain mandate that whatever may be the condition, whether the price increases or whether the price decreases, whether the quantity that has been supplied is either increasing or decreasing, for every point of time you have to take an immediate action for consumption of those goods and services. So here, law of supply, if the price, now for example the price of milk is a particular quantity or a particular product which is being required for each and every person, and whether the price is increasing from rupees 50 per liter to 60 per liter, we will be keeping consuming those product or this commodity. So certain products or certain commodity which are requirement of a daily nature or daily consumption, here at this stage the law of supply does not apply, and it is not applicable in a general universal manner. Disposable of old stock. So if particular goods and services are available of a old stock nature, that is it is been manufactured either 6 years, 6 months, or for example for 1 year, then at this stage the people want to reduce those particular stock, the people want to sell out this particular stock, and at this stage we do not look for a certain concept of pricing, whether the price is charged at a higher level or whether the price is charged at a lower level. Now why the particular stock position is not applicable, that is the old stock is not applicable, because every product, every commodity, it gets deteriorated, it gets reduced according to the change in the time factor, change in the market condition, change in the deterioration of the quality that has been created or that has been arrived over a period of time. Rare goods. Now rare goods, the goods which are of a very precious nature, the goods are available in a less number of quantity. For these particular concerns also the law of supply does not apply. Now for example, the purchase of gold, silver, diamonds, platinums, and so on. So at this stage, whether the goods are available, whether the goods are not available, for at what quantity it is available for you into the market, we keep on purchasing those goods and services as and when the need arises. For example, certain customs and traditions in with respect to the Indian economy. Now there is a certain concept called as Sade Teen Muhurta that is applicable. That is either Gudi Padwa, Akshay Tritiya, Dashera, and Diwali. So at this stage, whether the rare goods for purchasing of gold and silver, whether the price is increasing, whether the price is decreasing, what do people prefer? People prefer to purchase those goods and services at that particular specific location or that particular specific occasions only. So we are not preferring if the prices are around, for example, 50,000 per 10 gram or 55,000 or 60,000 per 10 gram. So here in this case, the law of supply does not apply with respect to the pricing of the product or pricing of that commodity. Backward countries, now in case of backward countries, the law of supply is not applicable because the country is not having the purchasing power with respect to the pricing of the product or the pricing of commodity that we have to charge for. For example, in case of South Africa, now in case of India, a particular sleeper or a particular chappal may be available for rupees 10 also, and for rupees 50 also, or for rupees 1,000 or 2,000 also. But in case of South Africa, wherein the per capita income, the income level of the people is very less, there is no feasibility, there is no concern whether they purchase a chappal of rupees 1 or rupees 10. The chappal is same for them, and accordingly the product pricing is also same for those particular type of people. So in this case, there are certain exceptions to the law of supply also, and accordingly, whatever there are changes in the market, whatever there are changes in the expectations of future prices, agriculture commodity, goods preferences, stock position, type of nature of goods or services, commodity, it keeps on differing. The law of supply is always stable, and there are certain exceptions that are applicable. Okay, that's all for today's lecture. It's 1:10.
Sir, disposal of old stock.
Yes.
So this point is not clear to me.
Disposable of old stock. Now that several stages you must have seen that on roadside factors, a particular people are standing and they are selling the old stock. That is, now whenever you go to a particular sale, what do they say? Stock clearance sale. Now what stock clearance sale is meant, that whenever a particular product is available in abundant quantity, that particular product is hello. That particular product is always sold at a below the price that has been offered for. Now a particular shirt that is, for example, a cotton king shirt. Now cotton king shirt available for a certain pricing of 1,000 to 1,500. And if this particular product is not purchased by certain people and it remains in a stock position, now if, for example, for 6 months to 1 year, no one is going to the market and no one is purchasing the cotton king shirt and it is lying into the godown, and the company wants to clear that particular stock or the warehouse or the godown that is available. For this concern, now if the product is not affordable for rupees 1,000 to 1,500, what the company will do? The company will reduce the price of the particular product. That is, the shirt will be sold for rupees 700 or rupees 800, or in some cases it will be sold for rupees 500 also. So here, what does the law of supply says? That the law of supply says that in order to see that your quantity increases, the price of the product must increase. आपकी क्वांटिटी कब इंक्रीज हुई थी? जब आपकी क्वांटिटी, दैट इज अर्लियर द क्वांटिटी वाज 935 per kg, now it has increased to 947 per kg only when the price of sugar has increased from rupees 50 to rupees 60. But here what is the situation? The quantity demanded has increased from 1 shirt to 2 shirt only when the price of the product has been reduced. So here law of supply is not applicable in terms of stock clearance sale, wherein the stock of goods is being cleared off.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I understand now.
Okay, I am dropping the link of attendance in the chat box. Students to please mark their attendance accordingly. Yes, it has been posted. Let me know your confirmations after you mark the attendance. It's EABD, economics. Okay, thank you, Deepak. Thank you everyone for joining. Good day.